Good morning there, my friends. How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you're still smiling and being your sweet little selves. I was going to go outside this morning and record our read aloud, and it's freezing out there, guys. I cannot believe it. Like the wind's blowing and it's a little bit nippy. So I thought, well, I better just stay inside today and do our read aloud inside since it's so cold out there. Okay. So Miss Wainwright's going to read inside today. And the book I'm going to read is called The Relatives Came. I love this book. And the reason I love this book is because it brings up like a lot of really good memories that I have of my cousins who lived in Texas. And they used to always come to my granny's house in the summertime. They would come to visit all of us. And we would have the best time together, guys, playing outside, eating together as a family. Like everybody would go to my granny's and we would just have a great time. So I love this book because it reminds me of that. And I hope you love it too. It's called The Relatives Came, and it was written by Cynthia Rowland, and the illustrator is Stephen Gamble. It was in the summer of the year when the relatives came. They came up from Virginia. They left when their grapes were nearly purple enough to pick, but not quite. Love these illustrations. They kind of look like watercolors. And look at them packing up all that stuff, guys. Can you see all the stuff they're packing into that car? You got to pack up a lot of stuff when you're going to go somewhere and stay for a week, right? Think how you pack up all that stuff for beach trips. They had an old station wagon that smelled like a real car, and in it they put an ice chest full of soda pop and some boxes of crackers and some bologna sandwiches. And up they came from Virginia. They left at 4 a.m. when it was still dark, before even the birds were awake. They drove all day long and into the night. And while they traveled along, they looked at the strange houses and different mountains, and they thought about their almost purple grapes back home. They thought about Virginia, but they thought about us too, waiting for them. Have you ever been waiting on somebody to arrive to come visit? It just makes you excited knowing they're coming. So they drank up all their pop and ate up all their crackers and traveled up all those miles until finally they pulled in our yard. Then it was hugging time. Talk about hugging. Those relatives just passed us all around their car, pulling us against their wrinkled Virginia clothes, crying sometimes. They hugged us for hours. I love this picture of all that hugging because y'all know Miss Wainwright loves some hugging. Y'all know I'm a hugger. Then it was into the house, and so much laughing and shining faces and hugging in the doorways. You'd have to go through at least 4 different hugs to get from the kitchen to the front room. Those relatives. Do y'all even know what a relative is? Because I didn't even talk about that, did I? You know, a relative is somebody who's related to you, like your aunts and your uncles and your cousins. Yeah. And finally, after a big supper, 2 or 3 times around until we all got a turn at the table, there was quiet talk, and we were in 2s and 3s throughout the house. Oh my goodness, I love thinking about being around my granny's table and all that good food. We would have fried chicken and biscuits and gravy and mashed potatoes and yum. Just makes you hungry, doesn't it? Thinking about all that good food. The relatives weren't particular about beds, which was good since there weren't any extras. So a few squeezed in with us, and the rest slept on the floor, some with their arms thrown over the closest person, or some with an arm across one person and a leg across another. It was different going to sleep with all that new breathing in the house. Hey, I bet there was a lot of snoring in the house too. What do you think? I love this book. The relatives stayed for weeks and weeks. They helped us tend the garden and they fixed any broken things they could find. Man, everybody's just busy, just being a family and working together. I love that. Oh, I love that. They ate up all our strawberries and melons, then promised we could eat up all their grapes and peaches when we came to Virginia. Oh, and they even got out the guitar and the banjo and the violin, making music and singing, just making memories, being together, guys. But none of us thought about Virginia much. We were so busy hugging and eating and breathing together. I love that. Just breathe. Finally, after a long time, the relatives loaded up their ice chest and headed back to Virginia at 4 in the morning. We stood there in our pajamas and waved them off in the dark. We watched the relatives disappear down the road. Then we crawled back into our beds that felt too big and too quiet. We fell asleep. There they go, all loaded up in their car, headed back home. And the relatives drove on all day long and into the night. And while they traveled along, they looked at the strange houses and different mountains, and they thought about their dark purple grapes waiting at home in Virginia. But they thought about us too, missing them, and they missed us. And when they were finally home in Virginia, they crawled into their silent, soft beds and dreamed about the next summer. And look, there's their purple grapes they were growing up in Virginia. How did you like that book, guys? I just love that book because it's such a fun book. And it just makes you think about good memories that you spend with your relatives and your friends. And, a lot of us have friends that are like relatives and family too. And we love getting together and spending time with them. And I just love when the relatives came. I'll be posting this later today, and I'll be sure to put the quiz number so you can take the AR test, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're staying happy and smiling and enjoying every day that you have with your families. I love you all so much, and I miss you bunches.